So imagine you're a regular officer on duty and then they say, oh, you know, we have an assignment for you. Oh my gosh, Tinubu was coming into town. A lot of Nigerians are wondering if they voted for Tinubu and his sons because it feels like maybe his sons are now too active in the largesse of the business of Nigeria. People are pressed though, and I don't blame them. All right, on a serious note, President Tinubu, in his quest for international relations, of course, he went to Qatar. You guys remember that? And he went along with not just 2 people, but alongside his 36-man delegation was 2 of his sons, Sheyi and Yinka Tinubu. Funny enough, I actually didn't know about the Yinka Tinubu part. Last time I checked, there isn't a ministry for the sons of the president. So people are asking, should there be a ministry of family affairs next? Nigerians are really actually upset about this, and people were pressed that this felt like a family trip and it was a vacation instead of the fact that it's supposed to be a strategic move to bring Nigeria and Qatar closer together. Now, on a serious note, the president did promise that he is going to be trimming down the excess of governance. And he did mention that delegations should be smaller. So all 38 people, because it was 36 plus his son, that's 38. Should they have gone? Because if you travel with 38 people, it's a lot of hotel bills. It's a lot of dinners. It's a lot of estaco and per diem, because at the end of the day, they still get paid per night. Every time they're out of the country per night, there's something called estaco, and you get paid that. And this is actually coming from taxpayers' pockets. I pay my taxes, so it's coming from my pocket. Now, in October 2023, remember, Sheyi casually went to Kano, and decided that he was going to go for a polo weekend there to watch a polo tournament. And while doing this, the way he got there was he casually hopped on the presidential jet with his friends to cheer on his favorite polo team. Of course, there was a warm welcome from state government officials, even a team of police, state security, all of them were there. So imagine you're a regular officer on duty and then they say, oh, we have an assignment for you. Oh my gosh, Tinubu was coming into town. You got to protect the president's son. I'm going to say a few things about this. First of all, I am the queen of objectivity and I always like to ask people objective questions. If this was you, there's 2 things happening here. There's Tinubu going for a polo tournament with the presidential jet, and then there's Tinubu accompanying his father on a political assignment. If it were you, how would you navigate this as the first son? Your father is the president. Would you accompany your father, your mother to official assignments on a presidential jet? Would you? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Then I will give you my thoughts on this. I understand your father is the president and you're around your father, you're accompanying him, you're providing and learning from this office that very few people will have access to. I understand that. And I understand Tinubu has the right to be in proximity to his father. What I don't understand is him using any type of logistics that belong to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's entitled to security because he is the president's son. He actually is entitled to security. And in hindsight, you actually, like for example, in America, the president, and even when the president's daughters were in school, they will have Secret Service accompany them because that's part of the state. And when I say state, the country's responsibility to protect the offspring of the president. But to say you're using items, you're using the presidential jet for a leisurely activity, I think that's crossing the line. That part I think is crossing the line. The security, it makes sense, but going somewhere that has nothing to do with the Federal Republic of Nigeria and using a privilege that belongs to your father's office for yourself, I think is crossing the line. Anyways, in the video during the Qatar visit, Sheyi and Yinka were introduced even before the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Again, in what capacity are they being introduced? Are they there in the capacity of advisors? Like, there has to be titles. There has to be titles. During Trump's administration, Trump's son-in-law worked with Trump and Jared Kushner, and Jared worked as an advisor towards America for Israel. There was a lot of hurrah about it, and Americans were very pressed because nepotism in America, it's hidden, it's not as strong as here, it's not as visible. But he had an official title. So if Sheyi Tinubu and his other brother are going to be working with the president, they have to have titles. Otherwise, why are they part of the delegation? If they are part of the delegation, I want to know who's paying for their expenses when they travel. Because as taxpayers, we have the right to know these things. A lot of people have a lot to say about this online. I want to hear your thoughts. Make sure you comment down below and let me know. If you are Sheyi Tinubu, what would you do? Would you be on the fence? Would you hang out with your father? Would you use privileges that belong to your father's office? Comment down below. We're having a conversation here, so I want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about this story? I think this is a really, really interesting dialogue to have, and it's very necessary that we have conversations like this, because at the end of the day, they're accountable to us. It's just that simple. Always remember that they are accountable to us. Oh, I have some really, really sad news. The next story, absolutely gut-wrenching. The reality of what it means when we say Nigeria is in distress. We saw it happen to a woman, her children. Life completely has transformed from them in the twinkle of an eye. You got to click on the next story to find out.